Hey guys, Sonic7 here, and we are back. This is Sonic Unleashed. We are doing a new Sonic Let's Play, and I cannot believe it. It's been so long. Lola is so excited, she's already barking. This is great. So guys, I know it's been literally since the first Let's Play, since we played a Sonic game, and I apologize for the distance in between those Let's Plays, given that my name is Sonic7. But as a result of this, we're playing what I think is actually probably one of my favorite Sonic the Hedgehog games, and I'm super excited for it. So this game is going to be a little bit different than Sonic 06, and the fact that this game was actually pretty well reviewed, and people were actually pretty big fans of it overall. So I think that for me, it's a really great experience to see what this is really going to be like. And I think more than anything, I think it's going to be great just to understand how this game can really be from a positive perspective, because I think Sonic 06, there was so much that for me it was a positive thing because of my own memory and what I enjoyed from it, but I think it's just to see it in this more positive sense, obviously, of when the game can actually be done right, how good this game can actually be. So we're not going to continue, we're actually going to just do a new game here. Yep, that's perfectly fine, brand new game. So unlike the previous ones, where I think that, a little bit of the game was really just about kind of getting strong enough to face Eggman, and I think really kind of change the end of the game. I think a big part of this one is actually going to be really just about, we start off from such a strong place already at the beginning of this game, to then actually, how do we kind of build back up to that spot. So as we see here from the start of this game, we're actually already confronting Eggman. There's no build up, no nothing. We're here, his robots are here, we're in outer space apparently, and for some reason it doesn't really seem to matter because Sonic can apparently breathe anywhere. Still running, dodging everything, it's been great. And I think one thing I want to point out really quickly here is, compared to Sonic 06, which I talked about all the time, which had so many positive visuals, so many beautiful things to look at, this game is fantastic to look at as well. The animation is so crisp, the reflections are so nice, and I think really just watching Sonic as you go really just makes you understand just how fluid he moves, just how really strong he is at this point. And I think it really does a very good job of setting up the start of this, for just understanding that, unlike in Sonic 06, where I think you just stop some very minor robots and you're fast like you always are, there's a real power that I think you have here. But unlike the other ones, we actually start out in kind of a vulnerable spot, but with a little bit of a secret weapon, because unlike the other games where we build up to get all the Chaos Emeralds and turn Supersonic, we actually start off Supersonic here, which is a really cool twist by them as the creators to make me think wow, this is really, really cool. But I think it also does a very good part of it makes you kind of almost question well, what's next? What am I really building up for at this point? Because you are starting off in this powerful point to begin with, obviously. And I think, first of all, the interstellar fight here is glorious to look at. The explosions are great. And I think that, you have a great perspective. It's just, how powerful Sonic really is and just how much havoc he is wreaking here. Just trying to, just catch Eggman here and just, understanding, how crazy that is. But as happens every now and then in Sonic games, we get a little bit overzealous for our own good. And, we really, Eggman does this whole go easy on me, please forgive me thing. And for some reason, we kind of take pity for a split second here. And as a result of that, we fall for his trap, where he says, got you there. And now we are trapped inside of basically what I can only describe as, a force field, something like that. I kind of picture it a weird bubble shield from Halo. But now, so we get struck by some kind of rays that make all the Chaos Emeralds go away. And we lose our Supersonic ability. So all of a sudden, we're being shown that the strongest ability we've ever had in these games is no longer strong enough for whatever Eggman has planned for us. And I think what this game has planned for us. So first of all, I think they have a very great way of showing you a desire off the beginning, that there is a place you can kind of build to and a place you can get stronger from, that I think really can make this a positive game overall, because you figure there's something new to be gained from it. Because every other game you say, as long as I can be Supersonic, all will be fine because I can battle the final boss and it's done. However, here they're clearly showing that's not good enough. And here just, some stunning visuals of us getting shot back down to Earth. And really, well, him shooting a laser beam down to Earth. And then really the Earth, as we see it, really splintering apart and breaking into different pieces. To where now a dark creature is raising out of the ground. I know this sounds like a very confusing plot. I promise they actually tie it together in a pretty decent way. But basically the idea is that this is a dark power that is trapped within the Earth's crust. Because of course there's something like that in there. Sonic's still here getting zapped apparently. And Eggman wants to harness the power of this dark being for his own dastardly deeds. And here we see Sonic is actually getting transformed a little bit into kind of like a furry, fluffy, like kind of almost wolf. And it's a very weird transformation. And I think something that we had no clue what was really going on here. And now we see that the Chaos Emeralds have actually lost all of their color. We are now a big, hulking, spiked cleat, much bigger, brawly, furrier version of ourselves from before. And we see now the Earth is actually splintered. It's in different pieces that are barely just holding on. And I love how he's doing all this to literally build an amusement park. He wants to harness his power to take over the world and build a giant amusement park. Like, why does he do that? Alright, so I'm going to say right now, for everyone who has seen this game before, we know that the second part of this change is what's called the werehog, where Sonic is this big fluffy werewolf, but a hedgehog, so werehog. A lot of people weren't entirely fans of it. I will say, actually, I was a gigantic fan of it. I think it's a really cool change. It gave you a different way to play the game. And I think more than anything, like, it's a really great way of how they introduced this game, is that Sonic looks different, the world is in danger, and your supersonic powers were not enough. They create a real reason as to why you have to care about this game from the very beginning, as opposed to just some princess got kidnapped like in Sonic 06. And, yes, we're the hero, and that's why we're going to do it. But at the same point, like, why do we really care? It's one princess. Did the world really change? I know it actually ended up really being impacted, but did we know that in advance? There's different things along the way for sure. And I think that one part about this game that I really appreciated is that they cut down the loading screens. So I'm going to show you guys one loading screen here, just an example of kind of like how they cut this down comparatively. Just because I think that in Sonic 06, if you guys remember, there was a loading screen to load up a conversation, have the quick conversation, then another loading screen afterwards. And then once you're ready, there's maybe a third loading screen. So we're randomly crashing down to Earth, but then we kind of just stop all of a sudden. And now we just fall in the classic like cartoon sense where we just crash land and boom. So first things first is you can clearly tell just as they're going to have the game graphics, there's going to be a drop in the amount of like animation they can be doing.
What the heck is going on?
But at the same point, like if we compare this to Sonic 06, like this is still a nice jump up in like graphic realism. And we meet a new character here. He's passed out. We're like, who is this kid?
Are you okay?
And first off, design of this guy, who they're going to say in a minute, is he's super freaking cute. He's like, I don't know, I think that's a really, really cool original design to have like the orbit, the chest there, to have like the red coloring, the, like kind of like almost like goatee, not goatee, crap, I'm trying to think, the like fade cut almost that he has there. Like I really enjoy all the parts of it, the big fluffy tail.
You okay? Nothing broken?
So like again, like I think a big part of this game that I'm going to be consistently remarking about is like really about the creativity side of things. So for me, like I'm a huge fan of when people push the envelope and really like make things different, even if they think they don't have to be, like even if what was working before was working. And I think like especially when we think after Sonic 06, there was so much reason to want to change the franchise, want to change the direction of it, and I think that seeing them actually take a lot of the advice from the fans of really being more bold, being more risk-taking. I know that not everything's perfect in this game, and I think there's very few games you can ever point at and say that everything is perfect. But I think that it's really, really cool to see how they are going to be taking risks, introducing new characters, introducing a new Sonic, introducing a new villain, introducing a new form. Like everything about it is like, I think, a very cool departure from what maybe was tried and true and worked before. So this guy is in a lot of ways kind of comic relief, but he'll kind of serve as like almost a navigation pixie at some like parts of this game too. He'll play a much bigger part in the game later on. But for right now, there's just, I think, an overwhelming question for both him, Sonic, and us as the player of where in the world are we, and what in the world do we do next.
Really? You mean it?
So for right now, this guy has amnesia, and we're going to be saying that we're going to help him restore his memory. As to how we actually do that, we have no clue whatsoever.
Mr. Monster.
But at the same point, like, you know, we're Sonic, who cares? We can do anything, right? So as a result of this, you know, we make a new friend here. We have we have no connection to anyone who's actually been to the previous games so far. So we don't know where Tails is, we don't know where Knuckles is. But a big part to introduce here is we see the sun is rising. And as a result, we actually turn back to normal Sonic. And can I point out for a second just how amazing normal Sonic looks?
Amazing.
Every part of the shadow, the lighting, they did perfectly. The sparkle of the shoes, I love it. And here, there's not even a loading screen. You just go straight into the level. So we're going to do this one to start out here just because this is a very, very quick level, and this just introduces you to a few different controls in the game that like weren't there beforehand. I'm going to preface right now, a big change, I think, from what we were used to in the previous games is, first of all, there's an X button here that can actually just help me boost, which is a huge departure. The second part here is, yes, lol, I know, it's super exciting. Ah, God, we got to jump. The second part is, as you're going to clearly see, I am nowhere, oh, it's AA, or what is it? Or is it AX? Okay. I am nowhere near as good at this game as I am at, there, it's X, okay, as I was at Sonic 06. And I'm going to apologize in advance, guys, because I know that's not nearly as fun in that sense of like, you know, we won't be S-ranking everything. But I am going to try my best at this. We are going to live with, honestly, whatever results we get, as long as like there's not some egregious way that we fucked it up at the end there. Couple of nice things this game adds, as you can quickly see. I have an X button that gives me a crazy boost. And then there's the right bumper, left bumper that lets you like jump left and right as you're moving super fast. There we got a B. Realistically, if I hadn't taken so long with that like jumping and X part, probably could have done a little bit better, but it is how it is. So here, first thing we're going to see is that you see there's two different things we can upgrade for regular Sonic. There's speed and ring energy. Ring energy is the boost that we had, and speed is just our speed. So ring energy is the better one to do because you can just have longer bursts of it, hold it down, it works a lot easier. Whenever you're done, you just press B and quit, and there you go. And quick loading screen here shows you a little bit of the world map here. We're going to be starting where the globe is, and we want to move to where that compass is in the far right. So actually a really nice way of how a loading screen gives you something positive to see in the game, and really something that I think can help out. Another thing to point out here is while Soliana, the one from Sonic 06, was a little bit gray, drab, and I think like, you know, a little bit hard to look at times because it wasn't always perfectly animated. This new town here is beautiful to look at. You know, super white, which obviously makes me think of like, you know, Greece a little bit to that effect. And I think that you'll see actually they try to model it after Greece. So I think there's a really realistic representation they make here, as opposed to like, while Soliana is cool, I think it's hard for me to picture like a fictitious like, you know, city of water that worships the sun god that isn't actually Venice. So I think as a result of that, like, it's a very cool thing to see them like taking a little bit more of a realistic like view, because it lets you have a fair reference to if it looks good or not. And I think that's the thing I appreciate is like they're good at changing things, but I think in calculated ways in this game, which is like instead of making a brand new city, they make something that is, you know, something that you can quickly see and compare to in this idea of a landscape. But because they know it's modeled off of, they can do a much better job of like making it look realistic and making it look good. And obviously, I think this is not to say like 40 years of extra animation power on the system definitely didn't hurt either. But as a result of this, he loves this ice cream cone with all these chips in it.
Look for somebody who knows you, Chip.
And he calls him Chip now as a result of that.
Chip?
I like how he doesn't even like ask his permission. He just says, all right, I'm going to call you Chip. And Chip is like, okay. And it just works out perfectly from there. So, you know, match made in heaven here. So we're going to go over to the first level of the game, like the first full level of the game, and stop right there for the next episode. But first, before we get there, I want to show you guys really quickly just a couple things that you can understand in this map. The first is, in every single one of these maps, I'm going to press start for a second, you're going to see a 0 to 2 moon medal on the bottom right there. There's going to be medals hidden across these world stages, across the regular levels, and there's going to be hidden in like back alleys, different streets, things like that. Like, you know, places that I think like you have to look a little bit to find. Not necessarily hard to find, if we're being fair here. Like, I wouldn't say there's anything difficult there, but I think it is like it does require you to like physically look around a little bit. So I remember vaguely a lot about this game. Like I remember that these are like in back alleys, things like that. Now where specifically they are or what, where to go, I have no freaking clue. Okay, so that's one of them. Moon medal right here. And I know the other one's probably somewhere closer around here. So I'm going to jump really quick to when I find the other moon medal. Alright guys, so it turns out actually in the front here, right by the ice cream stand, if you just go over here and run up the alley, here's the other moon medal. So now we have both the moon medals. As we see, we've collected everything here. The reason why I'm collecting these, and I will be discreet about when I do it to not waste a lot of like game time on this, you need to collect, I believe it's like 100 or 200 of each the moon and the sun medals to actually make it to the end of the game. So unlike in Sonic 06 where like, you had the silver medals and they had like a kind of like ancillary purpose, these medals actually, you need to collect certain amounts to actually unlock different parts of the game. So collecting as you go is a very, very important thing, which is, I think good in the sense that they give them a value, annoying in the sense that you have to care more. So as we see right here, there's a 1 right here with the sun, which means this is our first day stage. So guys, we're going to stop here for the first episode. Hopefully with the editing, it's probably going to be like 15 minutes or so. So guys, this has been Sly Sonic 7. So excited to be back on a Sonic the Hedgehog Let's Play. So excited to be back here with you guys and a beautiful looking game here with our boy Sonic. That's right, we are the king. Alright guys, this has been Sly Sonic 7. I'll see you guys in the next one.